Welcome to Chinese History and Mythology.
Hey friends, welcome back to Chinese History and Mythology. Last time we talked about how after Cao Cao died, Cao Pi officially inherited the title King of Wei. In order to stabilize the situation, Cao Pi first dealt with several hidden dangers from within the Cao family. Cao Zhang came with troops to mourn his father, and Cao Pi was once worried that he had come to fight for the throne. Fortunately, Jia Kui stepped forward to persuade him and confirmed that Cao Zhang had only come to mourn, with no intention of seizing power. Cao Zhang also took the initiative to hand over his military command and return to Yanling to guard his fief. Only then did Cao Pi truly secure his position as King of Wei. After that, Cao Pi began clearing out Cao Zhi's faction, because Cao Zhi had not come in time to mourn his father and had instead been drinking and indulging himself with Ding Yi, and the others. Su Chu led the Tiger Guards to arrest him and bring him back to Yi Commandery. Ding Yi were executed, and Cao Zhi nearly lost his life as well. Fortunately, Empress Dowager Bian pleaded for him, so Cao Pi did not kill him. Instead, he tested Cao Zhi's talent by asking him to compose a poem within 7 steps. Cao Zhi immediately produced the lines, "We were born from the same root, so why burn each other in such haste?" This moved Cao Pi to tears, and in the end he only demoted Cao Zhi to Marquis of Anchang. At the same time, Chengdu also received news that Cao Pi had taken power and was oppressing Emperor Xian of Han even more severely. Liu Bei was determined to attack eastern Wu first and avenge Guan Yu. Lao Ha wept and said that the deaths of Guan Yu and Guan Ping were closely connected to Lu Feng and Meng Da refusing to send help. Liu Bei was furious and wanted to punish them immediately, but Kong Ming advised him not to push them too hard. But the situation quickly spun out of control. Peng Yang wrote a letter to warn Meng Da, but it was intercepted by Ma Chao. Then, after drinking, Peng Yang revealed rebellious intentions and was eventually ordered by Liu Bei to take his own life. When Meng Da heard that Peng Yang had died and then received a transfer order, he became frightened. Under the persuasion of the brothers Shen Dan and Shen Yi, he wrote a memorial taking leave of Liu Bei and defected to Cao Pi. When Liu Bei learned of this, he was furious and sent Lu Feng to lead troops against Meng Da. After Meng Da arrived in Wei, Cao Pi appointed him governor of Xinqiang and had him work with Xiahou Shang and Su Huang against Lu Feng. Lu Feng was first lured into an ambush by Meng Da's false retreat, then attacked from both sides by Xiahou Shang and Su Huang and was defeated back to Shangyong. But Shen Dan of Shangyong had already submitted to Wei, and Shen Yi of Fangling had also turned to Wei. With nowhere left to defend, Lu Feng could only flee back to Chengdu in disgrace. Liu Bei blamed him for not rescuing Guan Yu and for allowing himself to be controlled by Meng Da, and finally ordered him executed. Later, when Liu Bei learned that Lu Feng had once torn up Meng Da's surrender letter and killed the envoy, he felt regret. Together with his grief over Guan Yu's death, Liu Bei fell ill and became bedridden, so he temporarily stopped all military action. On the other side, after Cao Pi took control of Wei, he began to pressure Emperor Shan of Han more aggressively. Hua Xin, Wang Lang, Jia Su, and other civil and military officials used auspicious signs, prophecies, and heaven's mandate as excuses to enter the palace and force Emperor Shan to abdicate. Emperor Shan cried that the Han realm had been passed down for 400 years. Though he had no great talent, he had made no great mistakes either, and he could not bear to abandon the foundation built by his ancestors. But Hua Xin and the others pressed him step by step. They even pulled at his imperial robe in the hall and forced him to answer whether he would step down. Zhu Bi, the keeper of the imperial seal, refused to hand over the jade seal and was ordered executed by Cao Hong. Seeing Wei soldiers lined up below the hall, Emperor Shan no longer had the power to resist and could only agree to abdicate through tears. In order to silence criticism from the world, Cao Pi refused the throne 3 times in form. He also had Emperor Shan build an abdication altar at Fanyang, and in front of the civil and military officials and 300,000 imperial guards, Emperor Shan personally presented the jade seal. In the end, Cao Pi accepted the abdication, changed the era name to Huangshu, established Great Wei, and posthumously honored Cao Cao as Emperor Wu, Grand Ancestor. From that moment on, the Han dynasty, which had lasted for 400 years, officially came to an end in name. But right after Cao Pi received the abdication, violent winds suddenly rose on the altar. Sand and stones flew everywhere, the sky turned dark, and all the torches and candles were blown out. Cao Pi was so frightened that he collapsed on the spot. That scene seemed to suggest that this so-called abdication was not as proper and rightful as it appeared. When the news reached Chengdu, Liu Bei was filled with grief and anger. He mistakenly believed that Emperor Shan of Han had been killed, so he posthumously honored him as Emperor Xiaomin. The officials all wore mourning clothes, and a distant altar was set up for sacrifice. Kong Ming and the officials believed that the world could not go even one day without a ruler. Since Cao Pi had already usurped the Han, Liu Bei, as a member of the Han imperial clan, should inherit the orthodox line and continue the sacrifices of the Han house. Liu Bei refused again and again, afraid that he too would be seen by the world as a usurper. So Kong Ming pretended to be ill and set a trap. He told Liu Bei that if he continued to refuse, the civil and military officials would surely lose heart, and even the two Chuan regions would be difficult to preserve. Liu Bei finally loosened his stance. Kong Ming immediately brought in the officials who had already been waiting and asked Liu Bei to choose a day to ascend the throne. In the end, Liu Bei built an altar south of Wudan Mountain in Chengdu, offered sacrifice to heaven, formally declared himself emperor, changed the era name to Zhongwu, and established Shu Han. He made Lady Wu empress, Liu Shan crown prince, Zhuge Liang chancellor, and Su Jing minister over the masses. He also declared a general amnesty throughout the realm. The soldiers and people of the two Chuan regions all rejoiced. But after Liu Bei became emperor, the first thing he wanted to do was not to march north against Tao Wei and punish the traitor who had usurped the Han. Instead, he wanted to raise the full strength of the state and attack eastern Wu to avenge Guan Yu. Before all the officials, Liu Bei announced that he had sworn brotherhood with Guan Yu and Zhang Fei in the Peach Garden, vowing that they would live and die together. Now Guan Yu had been killed by Sun Quan. If he did not avenge this hatred, then he would be betraying the oath they had made back then. Before he had even finished speaking, Zhao Yun, general of Tiger Might, was the first to step forward. He bowed below the steps and said one sentence: "This must not be done." So why did Zhao Yun oppose Liu Bei's campaign against Wu? Would Liu Bei listen to Zhao Yun's advice? And would the newly founded Shu Han be pushed into a new crisis because of this hatred between sworn brothers? Let's continue the story. After Liu Bei became emperor, he immediately prepared to raise troops for an eastern campaign against eastern Wu, to avenge Guan Yu. Zhao Yun stepped forward and advised him, "The true traitors to the state are Cao Cao and Cao Pi, not Sun Quan. Now Cao Pi has usurped the Han, and both heaven and the people are angry. If your majesty can quickly plan to take Guangzhong and station troops in the upper reaches of the Wei River, then when we march against the traitor who usurped the Han, righteous men east of the pass will surely bring grain and ride out to welcome the royal army. But if we abandon the campaign against Wei and attack Wu first, once war begins, it will not be easy to end. I hope your majesty will think carefully." But Liu Bei said, "Sun Quan killed my brother, and there are also Fu Shiren, Mi Fang, Pan Zhang, and Ma Zhong. I hate them so much that I wish I could eat their flesh and wipe out their clans before the hatred in my heart can be eased. Why are you trying to stop me?" Zhao Yun advised him again. "The hatred against the enemies of the Han is a matter of public righteousness. The hatred for a brother is a private revenge. I beg your majesty to place the world first." Liu Bei replied, "If I cannot avenge my brother, then even if I possess 10,000 li of rivers and mountains, what is there worth boasting about?" So he refused to listen to Zhao Yun's advice and ordered the army to prepare for war against Wu. On one hand, Liu Bei sent envoys to Wuxi to borrow 50,000 barbarian troops as support. On the other hand, he sent men to Langzhong, appointing Zhang Fei as general of chariots and cavalry, director of retainers, marquis of Sixiang, and governor of Langzhong, ordering him to organize troops and join the campaign. When Zhang Fei heard in Langzhong that Guan Yu had been killed by eastern Wu, he wept every morning and evening. His robe was soaked with tears and blood. His subordinates advised him to drink wine to ease his grief, but once he drank too much, his anger grew even worse. If anyone inside or outside the tent offended him even slightly, that person would be whipped, and some were even beaten to death. Every day, Zhang Fei faced south, clenched his teeth, glared in anger, and wept for a long time without stopping. At this time, the envoy arrived in Langzhong with the imperial edict. Zhang Fei received the edict and the titles, bowed toward the north, and then held a banquet for the envoy. He said, "My elder brother has been killed. This hatred is deeper than the sea. Why did the ministers at court not request an army sooner?" The envoy said, "Many people suggested destroying Wei first, then attacking Wu." Zhang Fei flew into a rage. "What kind of talk is that? Back then, the three of us swore brotherhood in the Peach Garden and vowed to live and die together. Now my second brother has unfortunately died before me. How can I enjoy glory and wealth alone? I must personally go see the emperor and request to serve as vanguard. I will wear mourning and lead the attack against eastern Wu, capture Sun Quan alive, and comfort my second brother's spirit in heaven." After saying this, he followed the envoy to Chengdu. On Liu Bei's side, he personally went to the drill ground every day to train the troops and horses, preparing to choose a day for the imperial campaign. The officials gathered at the chancellor's residence and said to Kong Ming, His Majesty has just ascended the throne. If he personally goes on campaign now, that is not good for the state. Why does the Chancellor not advise him? Kong Ming said. I have already advised him many times, but he has never listened. Today, all of you should come with me to the training ground and advise him once more. Kong Ming led the officials to the training ground and submitted, Your Majesty has only just taken the imperial position. If this were a northern campaign against the traitors of the Han to uphold great righteousness, then personally commanding the army might be justified. But if this is only to attack Eastern Wu, then one senior general can simply be sent with troops. Why should Your Majesty personally trouble the imperial carriage? Seeing how sincere Kong Ming's words were, Liu Bei's mind began to soften slightly. Just then, someone reported that Zhang Fei had arrived. Liu Bei hurriedly summoned him. As soon as Zhang Fei entered the martial hall, he bowed to the ground, held Liu Bei's legs, and cried loudly. Liu Bei also shed tears with him. Zhang Fei wept and said, Your Majesty is now ruler of a state. Have you already forgotten the oath we made in the peach garden? How can we not avenge our second brother? Liu Bei said, The officials have strongly tried to stop me, and that is why I did not move the army at once. Zhang Fei said, What do they know of the oath we made back then? If Your Majesty will not personally go, then I will risk my life to avenge my second brother. If I cannot avenge him, I would rather die than see Your Majesty again. Liu Bei said, Then I will go with you. You lead your own troops from Langzhou. I will bring elite soldiers and meet you at Jiangzhou. Together, we will attack Eastern Wu and avenge this sea of blood. Before Zhang Fei left, Liu Bei warned him again. I have always known that after you drink, you become violent and often whip the soldiers. Yet after whipping them, you still keep the beaten men beside you. This is the way to bring disaster upon yourself. From now on, you must treat people with more kindness. You must not act as you did before. Zhang Fei bowed farewell and left. The next day, Liu Bei organized the army and prepared to set out. The scholar Qin Mi submitted, Your Majesty holds the dignity of the imperial throne. To personally go on campaign for private revenge is not something the ancients would have praised. I beg Your Majesty to think again. Liu Bei said, Yun Chang and I were as one person. His hatred is also a matter of great righteousness. How could I forget it? Qin Mi lay flat on the ground and refused to rise. He said, If Your Majesty does not listen to my words, I fear the army may suffer disaster. Liu Bei was furious. I am about to send out the army. Why do you say such unlucky words? He immediately ordered the warriors to take Qin Mi out and behead him. Qin Mi's expression did not change. He turned back and laughed. I have no regret in death. I only pity this newly founded state, for I fear it may be destroyed in a single moment. The officials all pleaded for him together. Only then did Liu Bei say, Lock him up for now. After I return from avenging my brother, I will deal with him. When Kong Ming learned of this, he immediately submitted a memorial begging mercy for Qin Mi. The memorial said, in essence, that Guan Yu's death was indeed painful and unforgettable, but the chief criminal who usurped the Han was Cao Wei, not Sun Quan. As long as the Wei traitors were removed, Eastern Wu would naturally submit. He begged His Majesty to accept Qin Mi's loyal advice, preserve the army's morale, and plan a greater strategy later. After Liu Bei read it, he threw the memorial to the ground and said, My mind is made up. There is no need to advise me again. So Liu Bei arranged for Zhuge Liang to assist the crown prince in guarding the Tuchuan regions. He ordered Ma Chao and Ma Dai to assist Wei Yan in defending Hanzhong against Wei troops. He appointed Zhao Yun as rear support, supervising grain and supplies. Huang Quan and Cheng Ji became military advisors. Ma Liang and Chen Jin handled documents. Huang Zhong became vanguard. Feng Shi and Zhang Nan became deputy generals. Fu Tong and Zhang Yi guarded the central army. Zhao Rong and Lao Cheng commanded the rear army. There were several hundred generals from Sichuan, together with the barbarian troops from Wuxi, making a total of 750,000 soldiers. The army was set to march on the Bingyan day of the 7th month in the first year of Zhangwu. After Zhang Fei returned to Langzhong, he ordered the entire army to prepare white banners and white armor within 3 days. All 3 armies were to wear mourning and set out against Wu. The next day, his junior officers Fan Jiang and Zhang Da entered the tent and reported, White banners and white armor cannot be fully prepared so quickly. Please, General, give us a few more days. Zhang Fei flew into a rage. I am in a hurry to avenge my brother. I wish I could step into Wu territory tomorrow. How dare you disobey my military order? He immediately ordered the 2 men tied to trees and gave each of them 50 lashes. After the beating, he pointed at them and said, Everything must be ready tomorrow morning. If you fail, I will kill you before the army as an example. The 2 men were beaten until their mouths were full of blood. After returning to camp, they discussed what to do. Fan Zhang said, Today we suffered this beating. If we cannot prepare everything by tomorrow, we will surely die. Zhang Da said, instead of waiting for him to kill us, we might as well kill him first. Fan Zhang said, unfortunately, we cannot get close to him. Zhang Da said, if he gets drunk tonight, then we will have a chance. If he does not, then it is our fate to die. In those days, Zhang Fei was dazed and restless. Whether sitting or lying down, he could not settle himself. He asked his subordinates, my heart keeps feeling uneasy and my body keeps trembling. What is happening to me? His officer said, perhaps your lordship misses General Guan too deeply. Zhang Fei then ordered them to bring wine. He drank a few cups with the others, and before long he was extremely drunk, collapsing in his tent and falling asleep. At the first watch of the night, Fan Jiang and Zhang Da each hid a short blade and secretly entered the tent, pretending that they had urgent military secrets to report to Zhang Fei. They crept to his bed and saw that even in sleep, Zhang Fei's eyes were wide open and his beard stood upright. The two men were so frightened that they did not dare move. Only later, when they heard Zhang Fei snoring like thunder, did they dare come closer. Together, they stabbed their short blades into Zhang Fei's abdomen. Zhang Fei cried out once and died on the spot. He was 55 years old. After killing Zhang Fei, Fan Zhang and Zhang Da cut off his head that very night and fled to eastern Wu with several dozen men. Only the next day did the army learn that Zhang Fei had been killed. They hurried to pursue the murderers, but it was already too late. Zhang Fei's officer Wu Ban first wrote a memorial to report the matter to the court. Then he ordered Zhang Fei's eldest son Zhang Bao to prepare a coffin and arrange the body. He told Zhang Fei's younger brother Zhang Shao to remain and guard Langzhong, while he personally hurried to Jiangzhou to report the death to Liu Bei. At this time, Liu Bei was preparing to march. Zhu Zhiliang and the officials had already escorted him 10 li before returning to Chengdu. After Kang Ming returned to his residence, his face was full of worry. He said to the officials, if Fa Shaozhi were still alive, he would surely be able to persuade our lord and stop him from going east. That night, Liu Bei also felt restless. He walked out of his tent and looked up at the stars. In the northwest, he saw a great star as large as a dipper suddenly fall from the sky. Liu Bei became deeply suspicious and sent someone overnight to ask Kang Ming about it. Kang Ming replied, this is a sign that we will lose a great general. Within 3 days, something major will happen. Liu Bei therefore delayed the army's advance for the moment. Before long, an attendant came to report, Wu Ban, a subordinate of General Zhang of chariots and cavalry in Langzhong, has sent a memorial. When Liu Bei heard this, he stamped his foot and cried out, alas, my third brother is gone. He opened it and read it. Sure enough, it was the terrible news that Zhang Fei had been killed. Liu Bei burst into tears and fainted on the spot. The officials hurried to revive him. The next day, someone reported that a force of soldiers and horses was rushing toward the camp. Liu Bei went out of the camp to welcome them. He saw a young general dressed in a white robe and silver armor leap down from his horse, fall to the ground, and weep bitterly. It was Zhang Fei's son, Zhang Bao. Zhang Bao cried, Fan Jiang and Zhang Da killed my father and took his head to eastern Wu. Liu Bei was overcome with grief and refused even to eat. The officials advised him, your majesty is about to avenge your second brother. How can you first damage your own imperial body? Only then did Liu Bei force himself to take some food. Liu Bei asked Zhang Bao, are you willing to lead troops with Wu Ban as vanguard and avenge your father? Zhang Bao replied, for the state and for my father, I would die 10,000 times without hesitation. Liu Bei was just about to order him to march when another force of soldiers and horses came rushing in. An attendant brought in a young general in a white robe and silver armor, who fell to the ground and wept bitterly. Liu Bei looked and saw that it was Guan Yu's son, Guan Xing. When Liu Bei saw Guan Xing, he thought of Guan Yu and cried aloud again. Liu Bei said, back when I was still a common man, I swore brotherhood with my two brothers, Guan and Zhang, and we vowed to live and die together. Now I am honored as emperor and had hoped to share wealth and glory with my two brothers. Who could have known that both of them would die violent deaths? Now that I see my two nephews, how can my heart not break? After saying this, he continued weeping without end. The officials hurried to comfort him, but Liu Bei said, both of my brothers are dead. How can I bear to live alone? As he spoke, he struck his head against the ground and cried. Ma Liang was worried and said, our lord is personally leading a great army against Wu, but he spends every day weeping. This is very harmful to the morale of the army. Chen Zhen said, I have heard that on Qingcheng Mountain west of Chengdu, there is a hermit named Li Yi. People say he has lived for more than 300 years and can foresee good and bad fortune. Why not invite him here and ask him? Perhaps that would be better than 1,000 words from us." Liu Bei agreed and ordered Chen Zhen to take an imperial edict to Qingcheng Mountain. Chen Zhen arrived at Qingcheng Mountain and indeed saw a place like an immortal's estate, wrapped in clouds and mist. A young servant came out to welcome him and said, "Is the visitor Chen Shaoqi?" Chen Zhen was shocked. The servant said, "Yesterday my master said that today an imperial edict would arrive, and that the envoy would surely be Chen Shaoqi." Chen Zhen was even more amazed. He followed the servant into the estate and met the hermit Li Yi. Chen Zhen read the imperial edict and begged him again and again. Only then did Li Yi agree to come down the mountain. When Li Yi arrived at the imperial camp, Liu Bei saw that he had white hair but a youthful face, blue-green eyes, and square pupils. Knowing he was no ordinary man, Liu Bei treated him with great respect. Liu Bei asked, "I swore brotherhood with Guan and Zhang more than 30 years ago. Now my second brother and third brother have both been killed. I want to personally lead the army to avenge them. May I ask whether this campaign will bring good fortune or disaster?" Li Yi replied, "This is heaven's mandate. It is not something I can fully explain." Liu Bei pressed him again and again. Li Yi then took paper and brush and drew more than 40 pictures of soldiers, horses, weapons, and equipment. After drawing them, he tore them apart one by one. Then he drew a man lying on his back on the ground, with another person beside him digging earth to bury him. On the picture, he wrote a large character, "White." After finishing, he bowed deeply and withdrew. Liu Bei was very displeased after seeing this and said to the officials, "He is nothing but a mad old man. He is not worth believing." So he burned the drawings and ordered the army to continue advancing. At this time, Zhang Bao submitted, "Wu Ban's troops have arrived. I request to serve as vanguard." Liu Bei admired his spirit and was about to give him the vanguard seal. Suddenly, another young general stepped forward and said, "This vanguard seal should be left to me." Everyone looked and saw that it was Guan Xing. Zhang Bao said, "I have already received the imperial command." Guan Xing said, "What ability do you have that makes you dare serve as vanguard?" Zhang Bao said, "I have practiced martial arts since childhood, and every arrow I shoot hits its target." Liu Bei said, "Then I will watch the skills of my two worthy nephews and decide who is more suitable." Zhang Bao ordered someone to set up a banner 100 paces away with a red center painted on it. He shot 3 arrows in a row, and every arrow struck the red center. Everyone cheered loudly. Guan Xing also drew his bow and said, "What is so unusual about hitting a red center?" Just then, a line of wild geese flew across the sky. Guan Xing pointed and said, "I will shoot the third one." He released one arrow, and that goose fell at once. Everyone again shouted in praise. Zhang Bao was furious. He leaped onto his horse, gripped his father's Zhang 8 steel-tipped spear, and shouted, "Do you dare compete with me in martial skill?" Guan Xing also mounted his horse, lifted his family's great blade, and said, "You know how to use a spear. Do you think I do not know how to use a blade?" The two were just about to fight when Liu Bei hurriedly shouted to stop them. "You two children, do not be rude." The two quickly dismounted and knelt to ask forgiveness. Liu Bei sighed and said, "When I first raised troops in Zhuo Commandery, I became sworn brothers with your fathers. We were as close as flesh and bone. Now the two of you should also join hearts and work together to avenge your fathers. How can you compete with each other and forget the greater cause?" The two bowed again and apologized. Liu Bei asked which of them was older. Zhang Bao replied, "I am 1 year older than Guan Xing." Liu Bei then ordered Guan Xing to bow to Zhang Bao as his elder brother. In front of the tent, the two broke an arrow as an oath, agreeing never to fight each other, to support one another, and to advance and retreat together. After that, Liu Bei appointed Wu Ban as vanguard, while Zhang Bao and Guan Xing were assigned to guard the imperial carriage. The Shu army advanced by both water and land. Boats and cavalry moved out together, mighty and vast, heading straight for eastern Wu. Meanwhile, Fan Zhang and Zhang Da took Zhang Fei's head and fled to Sun Quan, then reported the whole story from beginning to end. After hearing it, Sun Quan took them in. Then he said to the officials, "Liu Bei has already declared himself emperor. Now he is personally leading more than 700,000 elite troops to attack me, and his force is enormous. How should we respond?" When the officials heard this, all their faces changed, and they looked at one another in alarm. At this moment, Zhu Jin stepped forward and said, "I have received my lord's great kindness for many years, and I have never been able to repay it. Now I am willing to risk this remaining life, go to the Shu camp, meet Liu Bei in person, explain the danger and benefit to him, persuade him to stop the army, restore friendship with Eastern Wu, and join together in attacking Cao Pi." Sun Quan was delighted and immediately sent Zhu Jin as envoy to the Shu camp to persuade Liu Bei to stop his advance. In the 8th month of autumn, in the first year of Zhangwu, Liu Bei led his great army to Kui Pass and stationed himself at Baidi City, while the vanguard had already moved out of the mouth of Sichuan. At this time, a close attendant reported, "Zhu Jijin, an envoy from Wu has arrived." When Liu Bei heard this, he immediately ordered that Zhu Jijin not be allowed in. Sun Quan advised him, Zhu Jijin's younger brother is now the chancellor of Shu. Since he has come this time, there must be something important. Your Majesty might as well summon him in and hear what he has to say. If his words make sense, they can be accepted. If they do not, we can still use him to send our reasons for raising troops back to Eastern Wu, so Sun Quan will know that our campaign has proper justification. Liu Bei thought this was reasonable, so he summoned Zhu Jin into the city. After Zhu Jin entered, he bowed to the ground. Liu Bei asked, Ziyu, you have come from far away. What is the matter? Zhu Jin said, I do not avoid the risk of death. I have come especially to explain the matter of Jingzhou. When Lord Guan was guarding Jingzhou, the Marquis of Wu repeatedly wished to form a marriage alliance with him, but all were rejected. Later, after Lord Guan captured Xiangyang, Cao Cao wrote again and again, urging the Marquis of Wu to seize Jingzhou. The Marquis of Wu originally did not wish to do so. It was only because Lu Meng had never been on good terms with Lord Guan and sent troops on his own that today's disaster happened. This was Lu Meng's fault, not the Marquis of Wu's original intention. Now Lu Meng is dead, and the resentment should be ended. The Marquis of Wu is willing to send Lady Sun back, hand over the surrendered generals, return Jingzhou, and form a lasting alliance with your Majesty. Together, we can attack Cao Pi and punish him for usurping the Han, Liu Bei said angrily. You Eastern Wu people killed my brother, and now you still dare use clever words to persuade me? Zhu Jin continued, I am willing to explain the weight of the matter to your Majesty. Your Majesty is the imperial uncle of the great Han. Now Cao Pi has usurped the Han, yet instead of punishing the traitor and restoring the state, you set aside the great duty of the imperial house because of one relative outside the royal line. This is abandoning great righteousness for small loyalty. The Central Plains are the foundation of the Han, and the two capitals are the old lands where the dynasty began. Your Majesty does not go to recover them, but only fights over Jingzhou. This is abandoning what is heavy and choosing what is light. Everyone under heaven believed that after your Majesty took the throne, you would revive the Han and restore the rivers and mountains. Yet now you ignore the Wei traitor and instead attack Wu. I believe this should not be done. Liu Bei flew into a rage. For the hatred of my brother's murder, I cannot live under the same sky as Eastern Wu. If you want me to stop the army, that will happen only when I am dead. If not for the Chancellor's sake, I would behead you today. Go back and tell Sun Quan to wash his neck clean and wait for death. Seeing that Liu Bei's mind could not be changed, Zhu Jin had no choice but to return alone to Jiangnan. After Zhu Jin left, Zhang Zhao said to Sun Quan, Zhu Jin knows the Shu army is powerful, so he used the name of peace talks. But in truth, he wants to surrender to Shu. Now that he has gone, I fear he will not return. Sun Quan said, Ziyu and I have a friendship that will not change in life or death. I will not betray him, and he will not betray me. Back when Kongming came to Eastern Wu, I once wanted Ziyu to persuade Kongming to stay. But Ziyu said, since my younger brother has already joined Liu Bei, he will surely have no second thoughts. He will not serve Wu, just as I will not leave Wu. How could he betray me today? No sooner had he spoken than someone reported that Zhu Jin had returned. Sun Quan smiled and said, What did I say? Zhang Zhao withdrew in shame. Zhu Jin reported to Sun Quan that Liu Bei refused to negotiate peace. Sun Quan was shocked. If that is truly the case, Jiangnan is in danger. At this moment, the palace counselor Zhao Zi stepped forward and said, I have a plan that can resolve the danger. My lord can write a memorial declaring yourself a subject, and I am willing to go as envoy to Wei, meet Cao Pi, explain the danger and benefit, and ask him to send troops to attack Hanzhong. Then Shu will have too much trouble at home to invade the south. Sun Quan was delighted and ordered Zhao Zi to take the memorial to Yudu that very night. He also warned him, on this mission you must not lose the dignity of Eastern Wu. Zhao Zi replied, If I make even the slightest mistake, I will throw myself into the river and die. I would have no face to return to Jiangdong. After Zhao Zi reached Wei, he first visited Jia Su and the other officials. The next day, Cao Pi summoned Zhao Zi into the palace. After reading the memorial, Cao Pi smiled and said, Sun Quan wants me to send troops and force the Shu army to retreat, does he not? Then he asked Zhao Zi, What kind of lord is the Marquis of Wu? Zhao Zi replied, The Marquis of Wu is a wise, kind, intelligent lord with great talent and bold vision. Cao Pi laughed and said, Are you not praising him too much? Zhao Zi said, The Marquis of Wu was able to recognize Lu Su among many men. That is wisdom. He was able to promote Lu Meng from the ranks of the army. That is clear judgment. He captured Yu Jing but did not kill him. That is kindness. He took Jingzhou without using a great army. That is intelligence. He controls the 3 rivers and watches the world like a tiger. That is bold vision. Now he submits to your majesty. That is deep strategy and long foresight. Looking at it this way, is he not a lord of wisdom, kindness, intelligence, and bold vision? Cao Pi then asked, how is the Marquis of Wu's learning? Zhao Zi replied, the ruler of Wu commands 10,000 warships and 1 million armed soldiers. He appoints the worthy, uses the capable, and aims for great achievement. In his spare time, he also reads the classics and histories, taking their larger meaning. He is not like a scholar who clings stiffly to every word and phrase. Cao Pi asked, if I attack Wu, can it be done? Zhao Zi replied, a great state has armies for attack, and a small state also has plans for defense. Cao Pi asked again, does Wu fear Wei? Zhao Zi replied, with the natural defenses of the rivers and 1 million armored troops, what is there to fear? Cao Pi asked, how many officials like you does Eastern Wu have? Zhao Zi answered, there are 80 or 90 men of extraordinary wisdom and talent. As for men like me, they can be counted by cartloads and measuring baskets. There are too many to count. After hearing this, Cao Pi sighed and said, you can serve as envoy in all directions and not disgrace your mission. You are truly fit for this task. So Cao Pi issued an edict, ordering the Minister of Ceremonies Xing Zhen to carry an imperial decree to Eastern Wu, naming Sun Quan King of Wu and granting him the 9 bestowments. Zhao Zi thanked him and withdrew. Liu Ye advised, Sun Quan is declaring himself a subject only because he fears the Shu army. Now Shu and Wu are at war. This is heaven's chance to destroy Wu. If your majesty sends a great general across the river to attack Wu, with Shu attacking from the outside and Wei attacking from within, Wu can be destroyed within 10 days. Once Wu is destroyed, Shu will stand alone and will also be easy to deal with. But Cao Pi said, since Sun Quan has come to submit with proper courtesy, if I turn around and attack him, would that not chill the hearts of everyone under heaven who might wish to submit? Liu Ye said again, Sun Quan was originally only general of chariots and cavalry and marquis of Nanchang under the Han. Now if you name him king, he will be only 1 rank below your majesty. This man is only pretending to submit, but your majesty will truly grant him a royal title. Is that not giving wings to a tiger? Cao Pi replied, I will help neither Wu nor Shu. Let us watch them fight each other. When only one remains, destroying it later will not be difficult. So he ordered Xing Zhen to follow Zhao Zi to Jiangdong and formally named Sun Quan King of Wu. When Sun Quan learned that the Emperor of Wei had named him king, he summoned the officials to discuss the matter. Gu Yong advised, my lord may call yourself General-in-Chief and Lord of the 9 provinces. You should not accept the title granted by the Emperor of Wei. Sun Quan said, in the past, the Duke of Pei also accepted a title from Shang Yu. This is simply following the situation. Why refuse? So he led the officials out of the city to welcome the envoy. The Wei envoy, Xing Zhen, relied on his status as an imperial messenger, and when he entered the gate, he did not even get out of his carriage. Zhang Zhao was furious and rebuked him sternly. Rights must be respected and law must be solemn. How dare you be so arrogant? Do you think Jiangnan has no blades that can kill? Xing Zhen was frightened and quickly got out of the carriage. He met Sun Quan, and then they entered the city in the same carriage. Behind the carriage, someone suddenly burst into tears and cried, we cannot help our lord swallow up Wei and Shu, and now we let our lord accept a title from an enemy state. Is this not a disgrace? Everyone looked and saw that the speaker was Xu Xing. After hearing this, Xing Zhen sighed and said, with generals and ministers in Jiangdong who have such spirit, they will not remain beneath others for long. After Sun Quan accepted the title, he ordered fine jade, pearls, and other tribute gifts prepared, then sent an envoy to Wei to express thanks. But soon, spies reported that Liu Bei was leading the Great Shu army, along with tens of thousands of tribal troops under the barbarian king Shimok, and 2 forces under the Dongxi Han generals Du Lu and Lu Ning. They were advancing by both water and land. The navy had already reached Wukou, and the land army had already reached Zigui. Their momentum was enormous. Although Sun Quan had been named King of Wu, he saw no sign that Cao Pi was sending troops to help him. So he asked the officials, the Shu army is coming fiercely. How should we respond? For a moment, no one had an answer. Sun Quan sighed and said, after Zhao Yu, there was Lu Su. After Lu Su, there was Lu Meng. Now Lu Meng is dead, and there is no one left to share my worries. Before he had finished speaking, a young general stepped out from among the civil officials, bowed to the ground, and submitted. Though I am young, I have studied military books closely. I am willing to lead tens of thousands of troops and defeat the Shu army. Sun Quan looked and saw that it was Sun Huan, courtesy named Shu Wu. Sun Huan came from the Sun clan of Wu, was skilled in archery and horsemanship, often followed Sun Quan on campaigns, and had already won military merit. Sun Quan asked, "What plan do you have for victory?" Sun Quan answered, "Under my command are 2 fierce generals, Li Yi and Zi Jing. Both have the courage to face 10,000 men. Please grant me tens of thousands of soldiers, and I am willing to capture Liu Bei." Sun Quan said, "Nephew, although you are brave, you are still young. You will still need someone to assist you." Zhu Ran, general of Tigermite, stepped forward and said, "I am willing to go with the young general and capture the enemy." Sun Quan agreed. He assigned them 50,000 troops by water and land, named Sun Huan left commander and Zhu Ran right commander, and ordered them to march at once. When Sun Huan learned that the Shu army had already reached Yedu and set up camp, he led 25,000 soldiers to guard the border of Yedu, dividing them into 3 camps to prepare against the Shu army. Meanwhile, on the Shu army side, Wu Ben served as vanguard. Ever since leaving Sichuan, the Wu forces along the way had surrendered at the sight of them, and the Shu army advanced without bloodshed all the way to Yidu. When Wu Ben learned that Sun Quan had set up camp there, he quickly reported it to Liu Bei. At this time, Liu Bei had already reached Sigui. After hearing the report, he was furious. "A mere young boy dares block my road." Guan Xing submitted, "There is no need for your majesty to personally send a great general." "I am willing to go and capture him," Liu Bei said. "I was just hoping to see your courage." Zhang Bao also stepped forward and said, "Since Guan Xing is going to punish the enemy, I am also willing to go with him." Liu Bei instructed them, "It is good that you two go together, but you must be careful. Do not underestimate the enemy." Guan Xing and Zhang Bao joined the vanguard army and formed ranks to meet the enemy. Sun Huan stood beneath the command banner with Li Yi and Zi Jing. From the Shu formation came 2 young generals in white robes and silver armor. In front was Zhang Bao, holding his Zhang 8 steel-tipped spear. Behind him was Guan Xing, holding his gray blade across his body. Zhang Bao cursed, "Sun Huan, little child, death is right before you, and you still dare resist the emperor's army." Sun Huan cursed back, "Your father has already become a headless ghost. Have you come here to die too?" Zhang Bao was furious and thrust his spear straight towards Sun Huan. Zige Jing rode out to meet him. The two fought for more than 30 rounds, but Zige Jing could not hold out and retreated in defeat. Zhang Bao seized the chance and pursued him. Seeing Zige Jing retreat, Li Yi raised his gold-dipped great axe and came forward to fight Zhang Bao. The two fought for more than 20 rounds, with neither side winning. The Wu Deputy General Tan Sheng saw how fierce Zhang Bao was, so he secretly shot a hidden arrow, striking Zhang Bao's horse. The horse was startled and ran back toward its own formation, but before it reached the command banner, it collapsed and threw Zhang Bao to the ground. Seeing this, Li Yi rushed forward and raised his axe to cut Zhang Bao down. Suddenly, a flash of red light passed, and Li Yi's head fell to the ground. It turned out that Guan Xing had seen Zhang Bao's horse run back and had come to support him, arriving just in time to kill Li Yi and save Zhang Bao. The Shu army took advantage of the moment and pressed the attack. Sun Huan suffered a major defeat and had no choice but to sound the gong and withdraw. The next day, Sun Huan again led his army out to fight. Guan Xing stood on horseback before the formation and challenged Sun Huan by name. Sun Huan angrily rode out to meet him. He fought Guan Xing for more than 30 rounds, but his strength began to fail, and he retreated in defeat. Zhang Bao and Guan Xing pursued him straight into the Wu camp, while Wu Ben, Zhang Nan, and Feng Shi led troops to attack from behind. Zhang Bao charged at the front and ran into Zhe Jing. With one thrust of his spear, he killed him. The Wu army was badly defeated, and the soldiers scattered in all directions. After the Shu army withdrew, Guan Xing was nowhere to be seen. Zhang Bao was alarmed. "If Enguo has met with danger, how can I live alone?" He immediately mounted his horse and went searching for him. After traveling only a few li, Zhang Bao saw Guan Xing coming toward him, holding his blade in his left hand and carrying a captured general under his right arm. Zhang Bao asked, "Who is this man?" Guan Xing smiled and said, "I met an enemy in the chaos and captured him alive." Zhang Bao looked and saw that it was Tan Sheng, the man who had shot his horse with a hidden arrow the day before. After the two returned to camp, they beheaded Tan Sheng and used his blood to offer sacrifice to the war horse. They then wrote a victory report and sent it to Liu Bei's main camp. Sun Huan had lost generals such as Li Yi, Xi Jing, and Tan Sheng. His troops were now strained, and he was isolated with no support. He had no choice but to send men back to Wu to ask for help. The Shu generals Zhang Nan and Feng Shi said to Wu Ben, "The Wu army has just been defeated. This is the perfect chance to strike their camp while they are weak." But Wu Ben said, "Although Sun Huan has been defeated, Zhu Ran's navy is still on the river and has not suffered losses. If we attack the camp now, and Zhu Ran lands and cuts off our retreat, it will be dangerous." Zhang Nan said, We can have Guan Xing and Zhang Bao each take 5,000 men and hide in the valleys. If Zhu Ran comes to rescue them, we can attack from both sides and surely win. Wu Ban then said, "It would be better to first send a few ordinary soldiers to pretend to surrender and reveal to Zhu Ran that we plan to raid the camp. When he sees the fires, he will surely come to rescue them. At that time, our ambush troops will all attack together, and our chances of victory will be even greater." Everyone agreed and made arrangements according to the plan. When Zhu Ran heard that Sun Quan's troops had been defeated, he was preparing to send troops to rescue him. Suddenly, several Shu soldiers came to surrender. Zhu Ran asked why they had surrendered. The soldiers said, "We are soldiers under Feng Shi. Because rewards and punishments were unfair, we came to surrender. Tonight, Feng Shi plans to take advantage of the weakness and secretly attack General Sun's camp. They have agreed to move when they see flames." After hearing this, Zhu Ran immediately sent someone to notify Sun Quan, but the messenger was intercepted and killed by Guan Xing halfway there. Zhu Ran was still hesitating over whether to lead troops personally, when his subordinate Guan Yu said, "We do not know whether these soldiers are telling the truth. If this is a trap, both the land army and the navy will be in danger. General, it would be better for you to hold the naval camp. I am willing to go in your place and investigate." Zhu Ran agreed and ordered Guan Yu to take 10,000 soldiers forward. That night, Feng Shi, Zhang Nan, and Wu Ban led 3 forces into Sun Quan's camp and set fires on all sides. The Wu army fell into chaos and fled for their lives. Guan Yu was rushing to the rescue when he saw flames rising into the sky, so he urged his troops forward. As soon as he passed the mountain pass, drums suddenly thundered. Guan Xing attacked from the left, Zhang Bao from the right, and the 2 ambush forces rushed out together. Guan Yu tried to flee, but ran straight into Zhang Bao. After one exchange, Guan Yu was captured alive by Zhang Bao. When Zhu Ran learned that the battle had become dangerous, he had no choice but to order the fleet to retreat 50 or 60 li downstream. Sun Quan led his defeated troops and fled, asking where they could hold out. His officers said, "To the north is the city of Yiling. It has walls and grain, so we can stay there for now." Sun Quan quickly fled toward Yiling. Not long after he entered the city, Wu Ban and the others arrived in pursuit and surrounded Yiling tightly. Guan Xing and Zhang Bao escorted Guan Yu to Zigui to see Liu Bei. Liu Bei was delighted. He ordered Guan Yu executed and richly rewarded the army. From then on, the Shu army's momentum grew greatly, and all the generals of Jiangdong were frightened. Sun Quan sent men to ask Sun Quan for help. When Sun Quan heard the news, he was shocked and summoned the civil and military officials for discussion. Sun Quan is trapped in Yiling, and Zhu Ran's navy has also suffered defeat. The Shu army is coming with such force. What should we do? Zhang Zhao submitted. Although our army has suffered losses, we still have more than 10 great generals available. Liu Bei may not be impossible to deal with. We can appoint Han Dang as chief general, Zhou Tai as deputy general, Pan Zhang as vanguard, Ling Tong to guard the rear, and Gan Ning as reinforcement. Send 100,000 troops to meet the enemy. Sun Quan accepted the plan and immediately ordered the army to march. At this time, Gan Ning was already suffering from dysentery, but he still went on campaign despite his illness. Liu Bei entered the Yiling region by way of Wu Gorge and Jiangping, setting up more than 40 camps across 700 li. Seeing Guan Xing and Zhang Bao repeatedly win merit in battle, he sighed and said, "The old generals who once fought with me to win the world are now advanced in age and can no longer be used for major tasks. But now that I have 2 heroic nephews like these, why should I fear Sun Quan?" Before he had finished speaking, someone suddenly reported, "Han Dang and Zhou Tai have arrived with troops." Liu Bei was about to send men to meet them in battle when a close attendant reported, "The old general Huang Zhong has taken only 5 or 6 men and gone toward eastern Wu." Liu Bei smiled and said, "Huang Zhong is certainly not someone who would betray us. Most likely, I spoke too carelessly just now and said that old generals were useless. He must be unwilling to accept old age, so he has gone alone to win merit." He then summoned Guan Xing and Zhang Bao and said, "Huang Zhong may be in danger on this trip. You 2 lead troops to support him. Once he gains even a small achievement, persuade him to return. Do not let anything happen to him." Guan Xing and Zhang Bao accepted the order. Each led his own troops and went to support Huang Zhong. In the first month of spring, in the 2nd year of Zhang Wu, Huang Zhong, the rear general of Wu Wei, followed Liu Bei in the campaign against eastern Wu. Suddenly, he heard that Liu Bei had said the old generals were no longer useful. Huang Zhong was instantly filled with anger. He took up his blade, mounted his horse, and with only 5 or 6 personal attendants, rode straight toward the army camp at Yiling. When Wu Ban, Jiang Nan, and Feng Shi saw Huang Zhong suddenly arrive, they quickly welcomed him into the camp and asked, "Old General, why have you suddenly come here?" Huang Zhong said, "Ever since Changsha, I have followed His Majesty until today, risking life and death and enduring every hardship. Though I am already over 70, I can still eat 10 jin of meat in one day, pull a bow of 2 shi, and ride a horse that can travel 1,000 li. I am not yet so old. Yesterday, our Lord said that old generals like us are useless. Today, I have come to fight Eastern Wu and let everyone see whether I, Huang Zhong, am truly old when I cut down generals and kill enemies." Before he had finished speaking, someone suddenly reported, "Eastern Wu's vanguard has arrived, and their scouts are watching in front of the camp." When Huang Zhong heard this, his spirit rose at once. He rushed out of the tent and mounted his horse. Feng Xi and the others hurriedly advised him, "Old General, you must not rush into battle." But Huang Zhong would not listen and rode straight out of the camp gate. Huang Zhong reined in his horse before the Wu formation, held his blade across his saddle, and called out Pan Zhang by name. Pan Zhang first sent his officer Shi Ji to fight him. Seeing Huang Zhong's old age, Shi Ji thought he was nothing to fear and charged forward with his spear. But after fewer than 3 exchanges, Shi Ji was cut down from his horse by Huang Zhong. Pan Zhang was furious. He raised the green dragon crescent blade once used by Guan Yu and personally rode out to fight Huang Zhong. The two fought for several rounds, with neither side winning. The more Huang Zhong fought, the fiercer he became. Pan Zhang gradually could not hold him off, turned his horse, and fled. Huang Zhong pursued him closely and returned after a great victory. On the way back, he happened to meet Guan Xing and Zhang Bao, who had come to support him. Guan Xing said, "We have come under His Majesty's order to assist the old general. Now that you have already won merit, please return to camp and rest." But Huang Zhong refused to listen. The next day, Pan Zhang came again to challenge him. Huang Zhong was once more full of energy and mounted his horse to go into battle. Guan Xing and Zhang Bao wanted to go with him, but he would not allow it. Wu Ban wanted to send troops to help, but he refused that too. He personally led only 5,000 soldiers to meet the enemy. After only a few exchanges, Pan Zhang again pretended he could not resist, dragged his blade, and fled. Huang Zhong shouted, "Thief General, do not run! Today I will avenge Lord Guan." Then he urged his horse forward and pursued him, chasing more than 30 li in one breath. Just then, shouting rose on every side, and ambush troops rushed out together. Zhou Tai attacked from the right, Han Dang from the left, Pan Zhang was in front, and Ling Tong was behind. 4 forces struck at the same time and surrounded Huang Zhong in the middle. Huang Zhong realized he had fallen into an ambush and was about to retreat when Ma Zhong suddenly led troops out from the slope and shot an arrow that struck Huang Zhong in the hollow of his shoulder. Huang Zhong nearly fell from his horse. Seeing that he had been hit, the Wu troops surged forward together and the situation became extremely dangerous. At that moment, shouting rose from behind. 2 Shu forces arrived, and it was Guan Xing and Zhang Bao coming to rescue him. The two fought hard to break open the encirclement and protected Huang Zhong as they rushed back to the main camp. Huang Zhong was already old, his blood and energy were weak, and now his arrow wound had burst open. His condition became serious. Liu Bei personally came to visit him, stroked Huang Zhong's back, and sighed, "It is my fault that the old general has been wounded." Huang Zhong said, "I am only a warrior. To have met your majesty has been the great fortune of my life. I am 75 this year, and that is already a long life. I only hope your majesty will take care of your imperial body and recover the central plains soon." After saying this, he lost consciousness. That night, Huang Zhong passed away in the main camp. When Liu Bei saw that Huang Zhong had died, he was deeply grieved. He ordered a coffin prepared and had him sent back to Chengdu for an honorable burial. He sighed and said, "Of the 5 tiger generals, 3 are now gone, and I still have not avenged them. This truly breaks my heart." After that, Liu Bei gathered the imperial guards and personally led the army straight toward Xiaoting. He summoned all the generals for a great meeting and divided the army into 8 routes, advancing by both water and land. Sun Quan commanded the water route, while Liu Bei himself led the main army by land. In the middle of the 2nd month of the 2nd year of Jiangwu, Han Dang and Zhou Tai heard that Liu Bei had personally led the imperial campaign, so they immediately led troops to meet him. Before the 2 armies, Han Dang and Zhou Tai rode out. Then the great banners of the Shu camp opened, and Liu Bei himself appeared before the formation. Above him was a yellow silk umbrella embroidered with gold. On his left and right were white banners, yellow battle axes, and gold and silver standards, surrounding him in grand display. Han Dang shouted loudly, "Your Majesty is now honored as the ruler of Shu. How can you personally come before the battle lines? If anything happens, would it not be too late for regret?" Liu Bei pointed at him from afar and cursed, "You Wu dogs kill my brothers! I swear I will not live in the same world as you." Han Dang turned back and asked the generals, "Who dares face the Shu army?" His officer Xia Sun rode out with his spear. Behind Liu Bei, Zhang Bao held his Zhang 8 steel-tipped spear and charged out on horseback. With one thunderous shout, he went straight for Xia Sun. When Xia Sun heard Zhang Bao's voice, loud as thunder, fear first rose in his heart, and he was just about to retreat. Zhou Tai's younger brother Zhou Ping then rushed forward with his blade to rescue him. Seeing this, Guan Xing also rode forward to meet him. Zhang Bao struck Xia Sun with his spear and lifted him off his horse. Guan Xing immediately cut down Zhou Ping with one stroke of his blade. The two young generals seized the moment and pursued the enemy. Han Dang and Zhou Tai were greatly alarmed and quickly withdrew back into their formation. Seeing the bravery of Guan Xing and Zhang Bao, Liu Bei sighed with admiration. "A tiger father truly has no dog sons." He then pointed forward with his imperial whip, and the Shu army surged forward together. The Wu army was badly defeated. The 8 routes of Shu troops came like a flood of fierce beasts, leaving Wu soldiers dead across the field and blood flowing like rivers. At this time, Gan Ning was recovering from illness on a boat. When he heard that the Shu army was attacking in force, he mounted his horse despite his sickness and went out to meet the enemy. Before he had gone far, he ran into a force of tribal soldiers. These tribal soldiers had loose hair and bare feet. They carry bows, crossbows, long spears, shields, blades, and axes. Their leader was the barbarian king, Shamok. Shamok's face was red as blood, his blue-green eyes bulged out, and he held an iron-spiked bone mace. 2 bows were tucked at his waist, and his presence was terrifying. Seeing how fierce the enemy looked, Gan Ning did not dare fight head-on and turned his horse to flee. Shamok shot an arrow, and it struck Gan Ning in the head. Gan Ning fled with the arrow still in him to Fuchi Mouth, sat down beneath a large tree, and died. More than 100 crows flew onto the tree and circled around his body. When Sun Quan heard this, he grieved deeply, ordered Gan Ning buried with honor, and built a temple to worship him. Liu Bei pressed the victory and ceased shouting. The Wu army was utterly defeated and fled in all directions. Liu Bei ordered the army to stop, but then discovered that Guan Xing was missing. He was greatly alarmed and quickly ordered Zhang Bao and the others to search everywhere. It turned out that while Guan Xing was pursuing the enemy in the chaos, he had run into Pan Zhang, the enemy who had helped cause his father's death. Pan Zhang was shocked and fled into a mountain valley, disappearing from sight. Guan Xing guessed that he must be hiding in the mountains, so he searched everywhere but could not find him. As evening came, Guan Xing lost his way. After the second watch of the night, he groped through the darkness and came to a remote estate. He dismounted and knocked on the door. An old man came out and asked who he was. Guan Xing said, "I am a soldier on campaign. I have mistakenly come here and begged for a little food." The old man invited him inside. Guan Xing saw bright candles lit in the main hall, and in the center was a spirit portrait of Guan Yu. He could not help crying aloud and bowed to the ground. The old man asked in surprise, "General, why do you weep and bow like this?" Guan Xing replied, "This is my father." When the old man heard this, he immediately knelt and bowed as well. He said, "The people here all worship General Guan as a god. It was so when he was alive, and even more so after he became a spirit. This old man only hopes the Shu army will soon avenge General Guan. For you to come here today is truly a blessing for the people." After speaking, he prepared wine and food to host Guan Xing, and he also removed the saddle and fed his horse. After the third watch of the night, someone suddenly knocked on the door again. The old man opened it and saw that the visitor was none other than the Wu general Pan Zhang, who had also come to ask for shelter. Pan Zhang had just stepped into the hall when Guan Xing saw him, gripped his sword, and shouted, "Evil thief, where can you run?" Pan Zhang was so frightened that he turned to flee. Suddenly, a man appeared outside the door. His face was like a dark red date, with phoenix eyes, silkworm-like brows, 3 strands of long beard flowing down, and he wore a green robe with golden armor, one hand resting on a long sword as he entered. When Pan Zhang saw him, he recognized Guan Yu appearing as a spirit, and his soul nearly left his body. Before he could recover, Guan Xing had already caught up and cut him down with one stroke of the sword. Guan Xing cut out Pan Zhang's heart and used his blood to offer sacrifice before Guan Yu's spirit portrait. He also recovered his father's green dragon crescent blade. Then he hung Pan Zhang's head from his horse's neck, took leave of the old man, mounted Pan Zhang's horse, and rushed back to the main camp. The old man dragged Pan Zhang's body outside and burned it. Halfway back, Guan Xing suddenly heard horses neighing and men shouting. A Wu force came straight toward him, led by Pan Zhang's officer Ma Zhong. When Ma Zhong saw Guan Xing carrying Pan Zhang's head and holding the green dragon blade, he was instantly furious and charged forward to fight. When Guanqing saw that this was Ma Zhong, the enemy who had helped kill his father, his anger rose even higher. He lifted the green dragon blade and struck at him. The 300 soldiers under Ma Zhong all rushed forward and surrounded Guanqing. With too few men, Guanqing gradually fell into danger. Just then, a force arrived from the northwest. It was Zhang Bao, coming to support him. Seeing that reinforcements had arrived, Ma Zhong quickly withdrew his troops and retreated. Guanxing and Zhang Bao pursued for several li and then ran into Mi Fang and Fu Shiren leading troops to look for Ma Zhong. The two sides fought a confused battle. Because Guanxing and Zhang Bao had too few troops, they had to withdraw for the moment back to Xiaoting. The two returned to see Liu Bei, presented Pan Zheng's head, and explained in detail how Guan Yu's spirit had appeared and how Pan Zheng had been killed. Liu Bei was greatly shocked and ordered rewards for the whole army. After Ma Zhong fled back, he gathered Han Dang, Zhou Tai, and the others to collect the defeated troops. He also took Mi Fang and Fu Shiren and stationed them at Jiangzhou. At the third watch that night, many soldiers in the army secretly wept. Mi Fang listened in secret and heard some former Jingzhou soldiers whispering, "We are all old troops from Jingzhou. Our Lord Guan Yu was killed by Lu Meng's treacherous scheme. Now Imperial Uncle Liu has personally led a great army here, and Eastern Wu will be finished sooner or later. Imperial Uncle Liu hates Mi Fang and Fu Shiren most. Why do we not kill these two traitors, go over to the Shu army, win merit, and receive rewards?" When Mi Fang heard this, he was terrified. He hurried to discuss it with Fu Shiren. Now the army's morale is unstable, and our lives are in danger. Among those the king of Shu hates most, there is also Ma Zhong. Why do we not kill Ma Zhong and take his head to see the king of Shu? We can say that back then, we were forced by Lu Meng's scheme, and today we have specially come to confess our crimes. At first, Fu Shiren was unwilling and said that going there would only be sending themselves to death. Mi Fang advised him, "The ruler of Shu is generous, and the crown prince Adu is also my nephew. Considering the bond of imperial relatives, he may not kill us." After the two finished their plan, they prepared horses at the third watch that night, secretly entered Ma Zhong's tent, stabbed him to death, cut off his head, and with several dozen riders, went straight toward Xiaoting. On the road, they were stopped by Shu patrols and taken to see Jiangnan and Fengxi. The next day, the two entered the imperial camp to see Liu Bei. They presented Ma Zhong's head and wept bitterly, saying, "We had no second thoughts. We were only deceived by Lu Meng's scheme, and when we heard that Lord Guan was already dead, we mistakenly opened the city gates. Now that we have heard your majesty has personally come on campaign, we have specially killed Ma Zhong and come to atone for our crimes. We beg your majesty to show mercy." Liu Bei flew into a rage. "I have been marching from Chengdu for so long. Why did you not come earlier to confess your crimes? Now that the Wu army's situation is collapsing, you come with clever words, begging to live. If I spare you, what face will I have to see Lord Guan in the underworld?" He then ordered Guanxing to set up Guan Yu's spirit tablet in the imperial camp. Liu Bei personally held Ma Zhong's head and offered sacrifice. Then he ordered Guanxing to strip Mi Fang and Fu Shiren of their armor and clothing, make them kneel before the spirit tablet, and personally cut them to death with a blade as sacrifice to Guan Yu. At this time, Zhang Bao came into the tent, weeping and bowing. "The enemies of my second uncle have already been killed. When will my father's wrong be avenged?" Liu Bei said, "Worthy nephew, do not worry. Once I sweep across Jiangdong and kill all the Wu dogs, I will capture those two thieves and let you personally chop them into meat paste as sacrifice to your father." At this point, Liu Bei's power and reputation shook Jiangnan, and everyone throughout Wu was terrified. Han Dang and Zhou Tai hurriedly sent a memorial to Sun Quan, saying that Mi Fang and Fu Shiren had killed Ma Zhong and surrendered to the Shu emperor, only to be killed by him as well. When Sun Quan heard this, he was greatly frightened and summoned the officials for discussion. Buji advised, "The people the ruler of Shu truly hates are Lu Meng, Pan Zhang, Ma Zhong, Mi Fang, Fu Shiren, and the others. Now all of them are dead, and only Fan Jiang and Zhang Da remain in Eastern Wu. My lord should bind these two men, send them back together with Zhang Fei's head, return Jingzhou, send Lady Song back, and submit a memorial asking for peace. We can restore our old friendship and join forces to destroy Wei. The Shu army will naturally withdraw." Sun Quan followed this plan. He ordered Zhang Fei's head placed in an agar-wood box. He also had Fan Jiang and Zhang Da bound and placed in prison carts. Then he sent Chen Bing as envoy, carrying the state letter straight to Xiaoting. Liu Bei was just about to continue the advance when a close attendant suddenly reported, "Eastern Wu has sent an envoy. They have brought General Zhang's head and are also escorting the two thieves, Fan Jiang and Zhang Da." When Liu Bei heard this, he covered his forehead with both hands and said, This is a gift from heaven, and also my third brother appearing as a spirit." He immediately ordered Zhang Bao to set up Zhang Fei's spirit tablet. When he saw Zhang Fei's head in the wooden box, with its face unchanged, Liu Bei burst into tears. Zhang Bao personally drew his blade and chopped Fan Jiang and Zhang Da into pieces to offer sacrifice to his father. After the sacrifices were finished, Ma Liang advised, "Now all the enemies have been executed, and the revenge can be considered complete. Eastern Wu has sent Qing Bing here. They are willing to return Jingzhou, send Lady Sun back, renew the alliance, and attack Wei together. They are still waiting for your Majesty's decision." Liu Bei said angrily, "The one I truly hate with clenched teeth is Sun Quan. If I make peace with him now, then I will be betraying the oath we made in the Peach Garden. I must destroy Wu first, then destroy Wei." Liu Bei originally wanted to execute the envoy and cut off Eastern Wu's hopes completely. Fortunately, the officials pleaded with him again and again, so he gave up for the moment. Chang Bing fled back in terror and reported to Sun Quan. The Shu emperor firmly refuses to make peace. He swears to destroy Eastern Wu first, then attack Cao Wei. None of his officials can persuade him. After Sun Quan heard this, he was completely at a loss. Kanzei stepped out and advised him, "Eastern Wu still has a pillar of support. Why does my lord not use him?" Sun Quan quickly asked, "Who are you talking about?" Kanzei said, "After Zhao Yu, there was Lu Su. After Lu Su, there was Lu Mang. Now Lu Mang is dead, but Lu Boyan is still guarding Jingzhou. Though he is a scholar, he has great talent and broad strategy. Back when Guan Yu was defeated, it was he who planned the strategy. If my lord can put this man to important use, there is hope of defeating Shu. If he fails, I am willing to share his guilt." Sun Quan sighed and said, "If you had not reminded me, I almost delayed a great matter." But Zhang Zhao said, "Lu Sun is nothing but a scholar. How can he stand against Liu Bei?" Gu Yong also said, "Lu Sun is young and has little reputation. I fear the generals will not obey him. If the army does not obey, it will surely harm the state." Bu Ji also believed that Lu Sun could only serve as a commandery governor and was not fit for such a great responsibility. Kanzi said anxiously, "If we do not use Lu Boyan, Eastern Wu will perish. I am willing to guarantee him with the lives of my entire family." Sun Quan said, "I have always known that Lu Boyan is a man of talent. Now my decision is made. You need not say more." So Sun Quan summoned Lu Sun. Lu Sun's original name was Lu Yi, later changed to Lu Sun. His courtesy name was Boyan, and he was from Wu Commandery. He was 8 chi tall, with a face like fine jade, and had risen to the rank of general who guards the west. After Lu Sun entered and paid his respects, Sun Quan said, "Now the Shu army is pressing our borders. I order you to command the 3 armies and drive back Liu Bei." Lu Sun declined, saying, "Most of the civil and military officials in Jiangdong are old ministers of your majesty. I am young and have little rank or reputation. How can I command them?" Sun Quan said, "Khan Darun has guaranteed you with his whole family, and I have always valued you. Today I appoint you Grand Commander. You are not allowed to refuse." Lu Sun then asked, "What if the civil and military officers refuse to obey?" Sun Quan took out his personal sword and handed it to him. "If anyone disobeys your orders, execute first and report afterward." Only then did Lu Sun answer, "Since my lord trusts me so deeply, how could I dare refuse the order? I only ask that my lord summon the civil and military officials tomorrow and give the command publicly." Kanzei also suggested that, according to ancient rites, they should build an altar to appoint the commander, grant him the white yak-tail standard, the yellow battle axe, the seal ribbon, and the military tally, so that the generals would be convinced. Sun Quan accepted this and had the altar built overnight. The next day, Sun Quan held a great assembly of officials and invited Lu Sun to climb the altar. He appointed him Grand Commander, Right Protector of the Army, General who guards the West, and Marquis of Lu. He granted him a precious sword, seal ribbon, and command over the troops of the 6 commanderies, 81 provinces, and all forces in Jing and Chu. Sun Quan instructed him, "Inside the court, I make the decisions. Outside the court, all military affairs are entrusted to you." Lu Sun accepted the order and came down from the altar. He appointed Su Sheng and Ding Feng as his guards. That same day, he marched out, while also mobilizing all rows of troops by both water and land. When the documents reached Xiaoting, Han Dang, Zhou Tai, and the other generals saw that Sun Quan had actually appointed Lu Sun to command the army, they were all shocked and said, "How can our lord let a scholar command troops?" After Lu Sun arrived at the army, The generals were unhappy in their hearts and only gave him their respects reluctantly. Lu Xun ascended the command tent and said, "My lord has appointed me commander and ordered me to lead the army in defeating Shu. In the army, there is military law. All of you must obey orders. Anyone who violates orders will be punished without mercy." After hearing this, everyone remained silent. Zhou Tai then spoke to test him. "General Sun Quan of Andong is trapped in Yiling. There's no grain inside the city and no reinforcement outside. I asked the Grand Commander to quickly find a way to rescue him." Lu Xun said, "Sun Andong has the deep support of his soldiers and can surely hold the city. There is no need to rescue him in a hurry. Once I defeat the Shu army, he will naturally break out." After hearing this, the generals secretly laughed. After they withdrew, Han Dang said to Zhou Tai, "If this boy is made commander, Eastern Wu may be finished." Zhou Tai also said, "I was only testing him, but he could not produce a decent plan. How can he stand against Liu Bei?" The next day, Lu Xun issued orders for all generals to guard the passes and dangerous points separately, strengthen their defenses, and not act rashly. Behind his back, all the generals mocked him for being timid and weak. The following day, Lu Xun summoned the generals and asked, "Yesterday, I repeatedly gave orders for all of you to defend the passes to the death. Why have you not obeyed my command?" Han Dang said, "I followed the Sun family in pacifying Jiangnan and have fought in 100 battles. The other generals have also risked life and death on the battlefield. Now my lord has appointed you as commander in order to defeat the Shu army. You should send troops out, decide the whole situation, and win the campaign. Why do you only tell us to sit and defend? Are we waiting for heaven to kill the enemy for us?" The generals in the tent all agreed one after another. "General Han is right. We are willing to fight to the death." After hearing this, Lu Xun drew his sword and said sternly, "Although I am a man of books, my lord has entrusted me with this heavy responsibility for a reason. You must defend the passes to the death and hold the dangerous points firmly. No one is allowed to move recklessly. Whoever disobeys will be executed without mercy." Although the generals were angry and dissatisfied, they had no choice but to withdraw. Meanwhile, Liu Bei had raised the army from Xiaoting and arranged his troops all along the way, reaching straight to the mouth of Sichuan. The Shu camps stretched for more than 700 li, with over 40 camps from front to rear. By day, banners covered the sun. By night, the firelight rose into the sky. Spies reported, "Eastern Wu has appointed Lu Xun as Grand Commander to oversee military affairs. He has ordered all generals to defend the dangerous passes and refuses to come out to fight." Liu Bei asked, "What kind of man is Lu Xun?" Ma Liang replied, "Although Lu Xun is a scholar, his talent is not shallow. He is full of strategy and clever plans. The earlier surprise attack on Jingzhou was his plan." Liu Bei was furious. "That little boy used treacherous tricks to kill my 2 brothers. This time, I will certainly capture him alive." Ma Liang reminded him, "Lu Xun's talent is no less than Zhou Yu's. Your Majesty must not underestimate him." But Liu Bei said, "I have used troops for many years. Am I really not as good as a young boy?" So he personally led the front army and attacked the various passes by force. When Han Dang saw the Shu army attacking, he sent men to quickly report to Lu Xun. Lu Xun feared that Han Dang might go into battle on his own, so he personally rode quickly to inspect the situation. Han Dang sat on horseback on the mountain ridge and looked from afar. He saw Shu soldiers covering the land, and in the army he could faintly see a yellow silk umbrella. He pointed at the Shu army and said, "Beneath that umbrella must be Liu Bei. I want to send troops to attack him." Lu Xun said, "Liu Bei is personally leading a great army eastward. He has won battle after battle, and his momentum is at its strongest. At this time, we can only hold high ground and defend the dangerous points. We must not move lightly. We only need to encourage morale, defend strictly, and quietly watch for change. They are racing across open plains and think they have the advantage. As long as we hold our ground and refuse to fight, they will be unable to get the battle they want. Sooner or later, they will move their camps among the mountains, forests, and trees. When that time comes, I will have a special plan to win." Han Dang agreed outwardly, but in his heart he still refused to accept it. On Liu Bei's side, the vanguard challenged and cursed every day. Lu Xun only ordered all the armies to ignore them, strictly forbade battle, personally inspected each pass, comforted the soldiers, and demanded firm defense. Seeing that the Wu army never came out, Liu Bei became more and more irritated. Ma Liang advised, "Lu Xun is truly full of strategy. Our army has come from far away. From spring to summer he has held his troops still. I fear he is waiting for something to change in our army. Your Majesty, please think carefully." Liu Bei said, "What plan could he possibly have? He is only timid and afraid to fight. The Wu army has been defeated again and again. How would they still dare come out to battle now? At this time, the vanguard Feng Shi reported, "The weather is now extremely hot, and the camps feel like furnaces. Drawing water is also very difficult." Liu Bei then ordered all camps to move to places with thick forests and nearby water sources to escape the summer heat. They would wait until summer passed and autumn arrived, then gather their strength for another attack. Feng Shi accepted the order and went to arrange for the camps to move under the trees and beside the water. Ma Liang again advised, "Once our army moves, what if Eastern Wu takes the chance to attack?" Liu Bei said, "I have already arranged for Wu Ban to lead more than 10,000 weak soldiers and station them on the open ground in front of the Wu camp. I will also personally choose 8,000 elite soldiers and hide them in the valley. If Lu Xun learns that our army is moving camps, he will surely take the chance to attack. Then Wu Ban will pretend to retreat and lure him deep inside, while I strike from the valley and cut off his return route. In this way, we can capture Lu Xun." All the officials praised Liu Bei for his brilliant planning, but Ma Liang still felt uneasy. He said, "I have heard that Chancellor Zhu Zhiliang is now inspecting the passes in Dongchun and guarding against Wei troops. Why does your majesty not have the locations of all the camps drawn into a map and send it to the chancellor for him to see?" Liu Bei replied, "I also know the art of war well. Why must I ask the chancellor again?" Ma Liang said, "The ancients said that listening to many voices brings clarity, while listening to only one side brings darkness. I hope your majesty will be cautious." Only then did Liu Bei agree. "You may personally inspect the terrain of each camp, draw it into a book of maps, and send it to Dongchuan to ask the chancellor. If anything is improper, return quickly and report." Ma Liang accepted the order and left. Liu Bei then ordered the whole army to move into places with dense trees and nearby streams to escape the summer heat. Before long, spies reported this to Han Dang and Zhou Tai. When the two heard that more than 40 Shu camps had all moved into the mountains and forests and beside the water to avoid the heat, they were overjoyed. They hurried to see Lu Xun and said, "Now the Shu camps have all moved into the forests and beside the water. This is the perfect chance to attack them while they are vulnerable.